Hey everyone, today we're going to be talking about the brand new Sleep Token album, Even in Arcadia. Now, Sleep Token is a metal band that has kind of gained some popularity in the past couple years, specifically on their third studio album, Take Me Back to Eden, which released in 2023. And from what I remember, was Spotify's most streamed metal album the year it released, which I know a big part of that was from their song The Summoning, which got very popular. I had heard of the band a couple times before even that album came out, mostly from some comparisons of them in outfits, the mysterious around them, which kind of reminded people of bands like Slipknot, Mushroom Head, Ghost, even whether it be costumes, less on the, music side, which is really the part that I care about. And I've never really been that big into them. They've always kind of just seemed a bit too bland for me, a bit too so what, because whether it be the vocals, the guitars, the drums, the lyricism, I've seen it done better. But I never really thought it was terrible, per se, until the 2023 album, Take Me Back to Eden, which I thought was its most bland, unoriginal, lacked any bite to it, barely felt like a metal album besides it just being heavy, I guess, and even calling it that is like, kind of a slippery slope. Just because, the album it feels like this a very like surface level metal album, the kind of thing that people would say, oh yeah, I listen to all genres, and then doesn't listen to genres like rap, country, metal, really any of that, and this is like their kind of introduction. I feel like you'd get more bite out of listening to a Bad Omens than that, and I feel like that's saying something. And on this album, I think it's also pretty bad. Not as bad as Take Me Back to Eden, which I thought was probably one of the worst albums I've heard, specifically in the metal genre. And while this album, is a little bit better, I think that's solely just because it lacks like the most horrifically painful songs that the last album did. And this album just doesn't really do anything for me. There's not really a song I like. There's not really parts of the album I like. The only real thing I think I liked about it was the drumming, which, I've liked it on other albums, and, it's nothing, like, crazy good or anything, but I at least can tell that there is, like, a lot of technical skill to it. It's very precise, very hitting. Maybe on certain tracks I wish, it was heavier in the mix, as it's very light and very thin and doesn't really get to shine as much, and it kind of gets overshadowed by how painfully bad the mixing is for the other parts that frankly really aren't that good. It's definitely probably their most pop sounding album, which I know for a lot of metal fans that isn't good, which for in this case I agree with it, but I'm not always against that, as I think the concept of a band that has like these very darker sound, very almost metal sound, that has some pop sensibilities to it, isn't bad, especially with the very moody kind of love songs on there. I think that's a very untapped market in music that we've seen with Sleep Token's audience that it exists, but I just don't think that this band does it too well. It almost feels novelty at a certain point, because every time I hear somebody talk about them, other than the music, it's always about, oh, the costumes, the lore, the intrigue about that, and that a lot of times that's more talked about than the music. The sounds on it are all very like, you just started listening to metal music, let's make an album. And for a band that's been, making music for a little bit, or quite a while, honestly, you would think that they would improve. The lyricism on this album is also bad, whether it be how uninteresting the love songs are. The guitar riffs on here are so dime a dozen, it doesn't even intrigue me or catch my attention. The singing, I've never really liked the singer. I thought he's probably the worst part of the band, just because his vibrato, kind of baritone voice is so painfully mediocre. It's so bad that they keep trying to make it seem like it's better than it actually is. They keep adding so many effects on this album that it makes it seem fake almost. And I know, like, auto tune, adding vocal effects has a charm to it and has been used very well in plenty of songs. on this album, it's just not interesting enough, and it feels so plasticky that I lose so much interest throughout it. And honestly, just because of that, I'm feeling like giving this album a 3. It's not the worst album I've ever heard, but it has so much wrong with it, and is just another sign of me scratching my head as to why this band is as popular as it is. But let me know what you think. Bye.